Join me and my family as we cruise through the Panama Canal to Costa Rica, the ABC Islands, and Colombia. We spent 11 days aboard the Norwegian Jewel, exploring Central and South America. On our first day, we went through the Panama Canal, which was crazy. Ships literally move up a mountain through these waterways to get from one side of the continent to the other. The canal was built in 1914, so it definitely wasn't made for cruise ships. It was a tight squeeze, but we made it without bumping into the sides. We passed some big ships, shipwrecks, and even a jail along the banks of the canal. Our next stop was in Costa Rica. On this day, we did a tour out to the rainforest. The day started with a boat ride on a beautiful river where we saw some cool birds, lizards, caimans, and even wild sloths. It was incredible to see so many animals in their natural habitat. As we were leaving, we saw this guy clinging to the skeleton of a house. He was shaggy and looked like a Sasquatch or Chewbacca. Next, we went to a butterfly enclosure. They were everywhere. They kind of freaked me out. We even saw leafcutter ants. Then our guide showed us something really cool. How to make an all-natural tattoo. We headed over to a gondola to go to the jungle valley, but then we saw some howler monkeys. The males were chasing a female. Some things never change. We could hear the monkeys on our way down. And again on our way up. There were all sorts of frogs on our way out. And we saw one last sloth before heading back to the boat. Day 3 was in Bonaire, a small Dutch island off the coast of Venezuela, where we went kayaking through mangroves. The water was bright blue and the sun was hot. It was beautiful and relaxing, which was in sharp contrast to what we did next. Landsailing, also called blow carting, it's basically a little cart connected to a sail. Once we were strapped in and they told us how to control the carts, we entered the track. It took a few laps to get the hang of it, but then we were off and flying. You control the sail to go faster or slower.
That was so much fun.
Then we took a few photos before heading back to the boat. Day 4 was on another small Dutch island, the island of Curacao. We passed a flock of flamingos on our way to Turtle Bay, where we went snorkeling. We swam around and saw plenty of fish. but sadly no turtles. Before getting back on the boat, my brother and I explored the old fort, made some ugly faces, and of course had to have a shot of the island's famous liqueur, Blue Curacao. Aruba was next on the itinerary. We boarded a pirate ship named the Jolly Roger for a 3-stop snorkeling trip. Our first stop was at a World War II shipwreck, the German ship the Antilla. I thought it was super cool because you could see old chains and even a steering wheel. Visibility wasn't great and another boat of snorkelers showed up, so we headed to the next stop. I jumped in and immediately found a spotted eagle ray, which, after a quick Google search, I learned is extremely rare. Basically, I'm like the best at spotting wildlife. After swimming around a bit, I found a turtle. And because I was so nice, he introduced me to his buddy. Then they introduced me to a third friend. Then I had to say goodbye. It was time to get back on the pirate ship. After a few rum punches, we decided to give the rope swing a shot. It wasn't a very good idea. After our failed rope swing attempts, we danced our way back to the cruise ship. Well, some of us did. Our last couple of days on the cruise were spent in Colombia. The first stop was Santa Marta, where we went for a hike to Quebrada Valencia, a beautiful waterfall. It was a really nice walk through the jungle, and we saw all sorts of cool plants and insects. On the way back, we passed through some of the impoverished areas of the city. It was tough to see the difference between these shacks and the opulence and extravagance of the cruise ship. Our last stop was in Cartagena, Colombia. We did a tour through the old town, exploring old colonial forts, colorful streets, and enormous churches. To get back to the ship, we had to pass through this huge zoo. It was a great surprise and a fun way to end our last day on the cruise. They had everything from parrots and flamingos to monkeys and sloths. And just like that, our cruise was over. Follow for more adventures, and thanks for watching.